Hello, I'm going to go over this worksheet with you, Deep Earthquake Measuring. And what you see here is we have a map. This is just from Google Maps. These are the Japanese islands. And off the coast of Japan, you have this trench. This is where two plates are meeting and one plate is going under the other one. So this plate over here on the right is actually subducting underneath the one here on the left. And then you see I've got a bunch of dots and a scale. So a side view of what we're seeing is this. Now this is reversed, right? But you see one plate going under another plate. And what we're gonna measure is how far away, these dots all represent earthquakes, and how far away are they from the trench. And we're gonna see why there's some earthquakes that are close to the trench, some that are a medium distance, and some that are a far distance away. There's a reason for this. Again, this is the side view of it, and then we've got a data table back here. So let's take a look. The first part of the data table says shallow. This means shallow earthquakes, anywhere from 0 to 150 miles deep under the earth. Those are my red dots. Now there's 10 spaces, and there's 10 red dots. I don't have them numbered. We're just gonna start at the top. My scale is down here. You can use a ruler or you could use just a piece of paper. It doesn't have to have markings on it. You just have to know that this distance on the map is equal to 100 miles. So I've got 2 centimeters here. I want to know the distance from the earthquake to the trench. And in this case, it is 50 miles because that's half of my scale. So I'm going to come over to my table. I'm going to write 50 for that first one. Now let's look at the second red dot. So I just go down to the next one. I measure how far away it is, and that's half of my scale again, so that's another 50 miles. And you're going to do that all the way down here. You can see none of them are very far from the trench. Now I'm going to look at my orange dots, and I'll start with this one up here again. Remember, 2 centimeters, or this distance, was 100 miles. So I've got, let's go straight like that. Well, this is 100 miles, and this is another 25 miles. So I've got 125 miles on that first one. That's 125 miles away from the trench. And this earthquake happened somewhere between 150 and 300 miles below the surface. Let's do one of the deep ones, which are the yellow. So I'll do this first yellow one, and I'm going to measure straight over. So that's 100 miles, 200 miles, and then an extra 25, so 225 miles. That is 225 miles from the trench. And what this is depicting, because you're going to fill out the rest of this data table. What this is showing you is that some of the shallow, here's our trench, right? Some of the shallow earthquakes are happening right around here. And if you go up to the surface there, it's about 50 miles or so. The next set of earthquakes, maybe they're happening right here, along this, where the 2 plates are meeting. And you go up to the surface, and maybe that's about, in our last case, it was maybe about 125 miles away. And then those deep ones, you go straight up to the surface. And they're even further away from the trench, maybe 225 miles. So that's the representation of what we're seeing here, the different earthquakes and how far away they are. All right, I hope this helps.